Well, it's November 12, 2024. I'm Todd Dunn, and today I am sitting up on the front of the cabin house of my Allied Princess 36 sequester here in the boat shed. Why am I doing that? Well, let me show you. That's why I knew there was a soft spot in the deck up here on the foredeck. That's where we are. And so I decided to open it up and see how bad it was. And this deck is balsa cord. So I cut this rectangle out. That's 16 by 24 inches. And I pried it up. It came up as one piece without much difficulty at all. About half of the core in this area came with it, and the other half stayed in, indicating that it was completely delaminated for about 50%, where the core stayed in, and the core that came with it was delaminated from the underlay. And I took that home and got all the core off, that piece, and then I came back and cleaned all the core up out of here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to replace the core and glue down the piece of deck I removed with epoxy. And then I'm going to move on and do the next bit forward and the next bit forward, at least until I get up to that stanchion right there next to my saw, and see what things look like. So I've got a fair amount of work to do here. Right now I'm working against weather because it's starting to get cold. The next couple days it's supposed to get down into the 20s at night, so I'm not going to be doing any glass work until probably Friday or Saturday. I've got new core ordered, and what I am doing is, this is half-inch balsa core, but it was pretty compressed, and it was mostly 7/16 inches thick. I ordered di-vinyl foam core material, and what I ordered was 3/8 inch, and I'm going to put down a layer of 1708 biaxial fiberglass fabric in epoxy, slather a bunch of thickened epoxy on top of that, and stick the core down. And then I'm going to coat the top of the core with a bunch more thickened epoxy, put down another layer of 1708, and maybe 2 layers. I got to build up the 1/8 of an inch that I'm missing, and then we'll slather on another layer of thickened epoxy and put the fiberglass for the deck back on. And it sounds like a lot, but it's probably going to take about 20 minutes. And then I just hauled up the first of several 22-inch long lead ingots that I will put on top of this piece of deck until the epoxy kicks. It's supposed to warm up on Friday, and we're not supposed to have any nights much below 40 degrees for about 4 or 5 days. So that will let the epoxy kick. And once the epoxy has cured out on this section, I'll cut the next piece out forward and see if I can get that glued up before it gets too cold. Now, I have been able to work in here up until early December in previous years and get this sort of work done. So hopefully, I'll get at least 1 and maybe 2 more squares finished, and then I'm going to have to start on the other side and work my way forward. And I just ordered the fiberglass fabric that I'm going to need. The core is supposed to arrive tomorrow, and we'll get going on it. And hopefully within, not too long, I'll have the parts of this deck that need to be Recore done. And this deck will be rock solid. Because, as I said, I'm going to put in extra fiberglass as well as new core. And I'm using foam core, which is a closed cell foam, so that it won't absorb water in the future. And then, depending on how ambitious I am, I might cut out over pretty close to my tow rail and do that as a bunch of small segments. But at any rate, I'm going to end up with a bunch of squares of deck glued back down, but with bevels ground into the surface between the segments, so that I end up with an area where I'm going to have to sand it out and non-skid the entire thing. And I'm thinking I'll probably use the New Zealand acrylic non-skid. Right now the name is slipped out of my memory, but it's pretty easy to put on. That'll go on after I finish doing the whole deck up here. And if I get ambitious, I might do the side decks too. And the cabin top is okay, no soft spots there. I'll just have to sand it out and put the matching non-skid on the cabin top. So anyway, it's going to be a big job, but it really needed to be done. Whenever I walked up here, I could feel the deck moving under my feet, which is not something I want. And once I get this all glued up with new core and new fiberglass, this deck should be rock solid and won't move at all. And I'm chosen to work in little blocks like this so that I don't have an issue with the deck getting really flimsy if I cut a big piece out and losing its shape. So I figured this is about as big a piece as I can cut out without the deck starting to lose its shape. And I do have it propped up inside so that hopefully it won't sag on me. Anyway, that's the project for the next few weeks. We'll get it done and get part of the deck done this fall, and the rest of it will get done probably starting late March, when it warms up enough again to do epoxy work. So that's just a quick update on what's going on with Sequester this fall. This is not something I was looking forward to, but I can do it myself. It is a little hard on me with my bionic knee, which doesn't like to bend as much as I'd like. It's enough though. But I definitely don't enjoy kneeling on the deck, so that's going to be an issue. I'm going to have to get, a long handle for my fin roller and things like that. But anyway, we will get this deck repaired. It may not look super pretty until I get the new non-skid on, but it will look better when I'm done, and hopefully we will have a nice solid deck when I'm finished. Okay, thanks for watching.